and Yo MTV Raps came on with Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. And everybody in the whole place knew that I was on Ruthless.
Ruthless, yeah.
And Dre Day came on for the first time.
Okay.
And they turned it up. And I was sitting there looking, and it looked like everybody in the whole place looked at me. It was like,
what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
You know, the climate is stuff, like you said, is on now. You know, it's Death Row, they the ops, it's Ruthless.
Right.
So talk to me about Compton City G's. Because like I told you, I just realized that you did that.
Wow.
That you were the producer of Real Compton City G's.
That I am.
You did that beat on what? What'd you do that on?
I did that on on Bruce Forat's F9000 and the SP1200. I had them both midied up. And so I would do all the drums in the SP1200, and then I'd run all the sequences in the F9000. And Eazy bought the F9000 for me.
Okay.
I think it was like $7,000 at the time.
Okay.
He just went in and bought it.
Yeah.
And because I hadn't gotten into the MP, it was only the MPC 60. And so the MPC 60, it had an issue with where the samples, they wouldn't monopoly, they wouldn't stop when you hit them. They would just keep, going over. But anyway, that song had a lot of emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Because being over at Death Row, I could have been dissing him. But somehow I didn't fit into that. So the universe brought me to him. So I had a task of going up against the biggest producer on the planet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, I'm 22. My production skills, they're up to par, but I got to step it up a few notches.
Yeah.
Especially since I already know how they
Exactly.
how the Chronic is about to.
Because you're competing with the Chronic at this point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it was cool that I was over there because I got to hear
So you kind of had a cheat code.
what was happening.
Which makes sense because I it's almost like Dr. Dre kind of brought in that whistle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
With
okay, so that's a interpolation of the Funky Worm.
Okay.
Okay, and it was introduced to the world on A Nigga's Always Into Something. People don't remember that on the Niggas for Life record. And so because it had such a distinct sound, he brought it over into and made that. That was to me, that was the beginning of the G-Funk sound, was A Nigga Always Into Something.
Absolutely.
And people don't really, they don't really know that.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yeah.
So,
because you noticed during that time, everybody started using the whistle, did you do that with a pitch bender?
No. Okay, so Dre used a keyboard called the SY85. It's made by Yamaha. And it had a patch in there that you would go to where it had a synth sound that you could tweak, and you could go mono poly with it. If you go mono, when you're playing the keys, if you let off one key and hold it and go into the other one, like those sounds are sort of Arabic. You feel me? They sound like Arabian music.
Right.
So it's a whistle, but it's mono poly.
Okay.
And so instead of it just immediately going over, it bends into the next note.
Right.
So that's what makes it go.
And see, that's why it sounded like a pitch bender was being
all
used.
day. But no, that's just letting off the note.
Okay.
You could pitch bend it, but if you're trying to flow with it slowly, you have to know to be a little bit behind to make it glide into it.
Okay.
So that became our signature sound.
I noticed that. Yeah. So with Real Compton City G's, did you play that bass line, or is that a bass?
I played everything.
Is that
on
a
there.
bass or keyboard?
That's me on the Mini Moog.
Okay. The
that's a Mini Moog, a JD800, and the F9000, the SP1200. So I played everything. I sequenced the bass line.
Yeah.
And all the drums everything is me.
Oh, wow.
I sampled the drums out of the JD800. People don't know that. And I put them back into the SP, tweaked them, and made, what I was doing was I was trying to be cinematic because if you listen to our music back then, the rappers may have been dope, but our beats were very cinematic, and they fit the hood, they fit the time, and so gangster rap had some cinema to it. So if you couldn't do that, and you weren't blessed with that gift to be able to do that, then it was going to sound corny.
Right.
Lucky for me, I was I was blessed with the gift to do
you
that.
had the G shit.
Yeah, so I and I kind of did it on Paperboy's album. But when I was making the beat, I looked at I started looking at. I'll tell you what made me really get down on that song. I went to Larry Parker's. I don't know, you probably don't know that. That was a very popular deli club type of thing in Beverly Hills. And me and my whole clique would go there after the club and get food and everything. I was sitting there at the table with everybody, and Yo MTV Raps came on with Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. And everybody in the whole place knew that I was on Ruthless. And Dre Day came on for the first time.
Okay.
And they turned it up. And I was sitting there looking, and it looked like everybody in the whole place looked at me. It was like,
what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? So I went back to the house, and I started looking at all of the NWA covers. And I just started noticing, okay, there go Arabian Prince. Like, I'm looking at how everybody's dressed. And then it got to Eazy, and he looked at like the real motherfucking G. And so I went in and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sample my voice going, real motherfucking G. So I sampled me doing that on the mic, and I put that to the side, and I was like, damn, I need to make it a clown version of it's gotta be a cross between Nothing But a G Thing and Dre Day. So I was like, how can I make this sound evil? Because Eazy liked evil, dark sounding beats. So I was like, let me go ahead and make it sound as dark and evil as possible. And so I flipped it and twisted it and just made the bass line. I was sitting there, after I made the beat, I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, damn. And when you blowing about 20 blunts, I was like, this shit sound hard. So then I went in and I laid that, it was on 2-inch reel. So I had to lay everything through MIDI. And then I went back and I played the Mini Moog synth sounds live throughout the whole thing.
Wow. So you didn't even loop that shit?
I had to have the feel of it live throughout. I just, wherever I messed up at, the engineer would rewind and I had to go back. So all that's live going through. Everything else is sequence. But I'm playing that live.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So it added a
Yeah. So did you put and I mean, I haven't heard it. Well, shit. I mean, I work out. I just heard it maybe a few weeks ago. Did you put a waka waka sound in there?
That's a guitar, a session player named Mike Sims.
Okay, I thought
he came in and played.
It's subtle, but you can hear it. Waka. It's like some it's like some Curtis Mayfield shit.
Yeah, there's a sample in there that I chopped and flipped and made do that. But I wanted it to. I overlaid it with Mike Sims playing the guitar, and he just went in there and put the waka over.
Son got that ear.
So those are ghost notes.
Ghost notes.
All up under.
Yes. You see, I'm really a fan.
And then I tucked in anything that might have been noticeable in a sample realm, but other than that, 90% of it's all my originality.
Wow. Yeah. So when Eazy heard that music, which I believe BG Knockout wrote the song.
Yeah,
correct?
him and Drayster.
Yeah, him and Drayster.
Right.
So did Eazy hear the beat and say, y'all niggas put it down on that?
He heard, okay, so I used to be at the studio called Kitchen Sink. That's where I created Real Compton City G's, at the studio where I think Quick used to use this spot, AMG. It was a little raggedy type of old school 70s, 1970s studio in Hollywood. And I liked how dirty and rugged it was, but it had a cool ass sound to it. So he would go in there and book, 12-hour sessions at that studio. And so I went in there and I made the beat at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I linked up with Eazy about 5 a.m. And I put it on a cassette, and Eazy took it. And I put that and a few other beats on it. And he called me, he was like, man, this is the shit. And so he's like, I'm finna go link up with my boys Pat and Jim Bob. They were, he had two really close buddies that he trusted a lot, and one of them was Pat and Jim Bob, and they had some rappers. One that just got out fresh out the pen, and that was Drayster, I think, at the time. And then he had his brother Naki, and they heard the beat, and I wasn't around, but he gave it to him, and then they wrote to it. And then I finally met him. I came to the studio at Audio Achievements and put up the 2-inch reel, and then we all kind of got together, and Drayster and Naki went in there and murdered it. Yeah, they wrote his verse, and this nigga spit it.
So let me ask you, so when they used to write for him, did they rap it and give him a reference track, or he just learned it?
Sometimes they would.
Okay.
But other than that, at that time, he was already seasoned.
Yeah.
And he went in there and spit that whole shit. I think he might have messed up maybe 1 or 2 times.
You know what? Now that I'm remembering, that's crazy, because you were in the video, right?
That's me blowing smoke out my mouth in the beginning.
I'm putting the face.
I'm the first one to do that.
I'm putting the face now. Yeah. Yes. That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that was, Yeah,
it was a poke at them.
Yeah.
It was like, by me being over at Death Row and everybody knowing it, it was more like the regular person didn't know. They were probably like, who's this nigga blowing smoke out in the beginning? Yeah. But it was like, damn, this nigga Rhythm did the beat.
That nigga was just with us.
Yeah.
Like, that motherfucker.
That part. But it was like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? It was like, but
that
it was
more
more
your moment.
Yeah. And it kind of, it caused a little bit of drama, but you know.
Now once that shit hit the fan, so now y'all all out, right? Yeah. It is what it is up. It's up with y'all.
Oh, I had bodyguards, everything.
Really?
Yeah.
It got that deep.
For sure. Yeah. Because it wasn't,
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened, but Eazy protected me.
Yeah.
He had, Big Animal. Shout out to Big Animal. Yeah. They would rotate. Sometimes the twins.
The Samoan twins?
Yeah. Sometimes the twins would be with me at the studio. If Big Animal wasn't with Jerry, they send Mike Durrett to hang out with me. So, they was protecting me from the bullshit.
I'm home court, standing trial. Why ain't I see you round back when I was down? Karma's on the way. What goes around comes around. Karma's on the way. There's nothing you could do now. You gotta pay.